That was kind of our motto. We're taking money in from police officers to help different things, whether it's finding somebody on the side of the road that needs a meal. Your strength comes from your kindness. And we did that, and you know, you look in my glove box right now, there's a couple $100 in cash that I carry around. If I find someone that's broke down on the side of the road and they need a meal or they need fuel or something like that, not because I'm a great guy, but it's just basically just being a good person. And there's so many people in this world that can do so much, and they won't do it. They won't invest themselves in any program. They won't invest themselves in the things that they believe in, and sometimes you wonder if they even believe in anything. But if they do, those are the people who make a difference. They take a program where everyone says that's not going to work and that's not going to succeed. You can't do that. You're from a small town. You got just no resources, nothing. And then you make them scratch their head and say, how in the world did he do that?
Yeah.
Because he cared and he was going to make it work. And that's the people who make the difference around here.
Welcome to Miami.
Whatever comes to my mind at that moment. Over the last 8 years, after I got done with a pro career of being an undefeated Ultimate Fighter, winning $1 Million Tough Enough on WWE, and being a world weightlifting champ, I looked at what was happening with our kids, what was happening with their social emotional, with their emotional intelligence, with bullying, drugs, gangs. There's so much going on mentally and emotionally with our kids today because of media negatively peer pressuring them, and our role models necessarily not stepping up and positively peer pressuring them to become the best version of themselves. And so I've worked with law enforcement, educators, and school districts across the country, local corporations, because what I'm finding is that the local corporations are having a harder time hiring and keeping their employees working hard and working happy. Have you guys seen that at all? Okay. So what we've done is we've created an emotional intelligence training company where we do this experiential stuff around the country, and we help local companies become a better version of their corporate culture, and then helping mentor the next generation to become part of the culture. So I'm finding a lot of time is schools tell you, well, let's go back to the beginning. From 0 to 2, we tell our kids to stand up and talk. From 3 to 22 years old, while they go through school, we tell them to sit down, be quiet, and read a book and take a test. And then at 22, we tell them to stand up and now become resourceful, independent, happy, work hard, be on time, and go out there and actually build a team, where we've never taught them any of those skill sets. It's kind of like in law enforcement. I've worked with law enforcement for the last probably about 12 years. And the school police chief of the largest school district in the country, or second largest, but largest school police department, LA Unified School District, the chief called the head of the union one day and said, James, your officers, they're not being nice to kids. Fix it. And James said, Chief, it's your fault actually. You send them to a 21-week academy and tell them to shut up, wipe the smile off your face, and do as I tell you. And then you tell them to give them an exit academy, and then you put them into school and say, now be nice to kids. Like, how is that supposed to train our law enforcement to actually connect, relate, love our kids, and understand them in a deeper way? Because we never teach them how to actually, when a kid's this tall, you don't stand above them, you don't put your hand on your gun or your hip. You get down at their level and you connect with them. Come down to people's level and actually relate and understand where they're from, who they are, their backgrounds, and really spend time when there's challenges coming up. And so what we've done is I've trained officers at Quantico, or FBI Quantico, to every major police department around the country, and we've seen a shift in a belief system and mindset. Definitely in law enforcement, because they've gotten a lot of negative media attention over the last 5-10 years. But I'm finding that chiefs and sheriffs, definitely a sheriff in town here and Captain Eddie, to be able to see how they want to impact the community, how they want to bring projects into a community to solve problems. So I think there's two different ways that nonprofits or organizations do things. One is help people. Let's feed a homeless person. Other side is let's solve homelessness. And what I find in America is there's not one nonprofit that we've ever spent billions of dollars in to actually solve problems. I can't find one, and I fly around the country and meet with mayors and senators and state reps and the biggest of the biggest people. I'm going to meet with one of my mentors who is a director of selective services in DC in 2 weeks. And I sit with these men and women and I'm like, give me the best of the best. What's out there? How do we design the future of America? Because China's looking at 100 to 1,000 years down the road. We look 2 to 4 years. And so we have this turnover and these challenges to be able to really see what's going on. So over the next couple of years, we're going to be able to bring in a program called our Emotional Intelligence Black Belt System. And it's a training system where we can help local businesses like yours, where we want to invite all your employees out. It's free at no cost. And we're then going to be tag teaming them with kids that are coming up, whether in the college world or in the pre-kindergarten through 12th grade world. I just think that it's interesting because we shifted and our kids are so creative today, but a lot of the time they just don't know how to use that creative in the real world. They just know how to use it in esports world.
I do want to say, I work at the college out here, and I think one thing too is like to get careful, and I use the right word, to get they communicate differently. Like it's a different generation, and so like we have a lot of administrators and people that are aging. They don't really get it, and so we get students that are constantly getting written up for like sagging their pants and things like that. When the student is also working with tutors and myself and others they're trying to work on their algebra score and they're really trying to get into University of Arkansas or whatever it is, they may not see that, but then someone has the perception of, well, they're sagging their pants, they're obviously a do-nothing. They're really struggling to try to make something themselves. That's just how they wear their pants. Please don't judge me on that. You know, and so that it's nice to hear some of that.
You know, I've seen kids too, they don't have a belt.
Yeah.
They don't have money for a belt.
Right.
They were handed down some pants or they stole some pants or whatever. I mean, we put a private school, so I saw that our juvenile hall program a couple of years ago, we only cut it down to 25%. And I'm like, that, for me, it should be 0. We shouldn't have prisons for kids. I mean, it's ludicrous that we even have crimes going on that would land a kid in prison. And what I saw was they were getting out and they were going back to the same environment with no what they do, the state in Florida gives you 4 hours a month of mentorship. Like, what is that really gonna do? So the company that does that mentorship, they're called Eckerd. We just finalized a deal with them where we launched a private school, and I said, I'm gonna take every kid that Eddie heard today, one of the schools called me, he goes, we have a 9th grader that's 17 years old that has a attendance problem that's failing her classes. I'm like, awesome, we'll take her. I put my dean on the call real quick, and we're getting them in. Because if somebody doesn't work with those kids, then they're gonna be dead, in jail, in the system. Like, you guys are paying for it. We're paying for it. So at the end of the day, we spend, I'll give an average about $300 to $400 million a year just in South Florida, in one county, Miami-Dade, on kids in jail and arrested and foster care kids. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of taxpayer dollars. We're spending billions and billions of dollars. About 1% of our kids are arrested a year in America, and about 1% are in foster care. So we're spending a lot of money doing that stuff. I think that just understanding, getting to know a kid and saying, hey, you know, got a question. You need a little extra money, and seeing what they need the money for, give them a belt for a bonus. You know, here's a bonus, first day. I want to help you create better professional skills. You know, wouldn't you want to make more money in life? We always ask them, you want to make more or less money? Every kid says more. Haven't had a kid that said less. And so if they want to make more, can I help you get the skill sets to make more? Instead of saying, wear a belt, pull up your pants. We don't tell them what to do. We just ask them and show them value in it. And they start doing it like that. It's awesome to watch. So that's what we get to do.